Hello everybody and welcome back to Jared Opens a Box. Now, today I have the return of Pokemon Funko Pops. It's actually been a long time since we've done a video on these. This is the most recent wave. I know they're releasing a new wave here any day now at this point, since we are here in February. I believe the next wave, which is Ponyta, Mew, and Raichu, should be coming out really at any point. But for now, this is the most recent wave. It came out, I believe, in September, October last year. So we have 3 of the Eevee evolutions, or the Eeveelutions as they are called by the fans sometimes. We have Flareon right here. This is Jolteon. And this one over here is Vaporeon. None of these are exclusives. They can be found just about anywhere. The hardest one for me to find was Jolteon. The other two actually haven't been that hard to see. I've found them at pretty much every store so far. But Jolteon definitely looks to be the harder one to find. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess that's just the one a lot of fans tend to like best. But we're going to start with Flareon, and then we're going to go all the way down to Vaporeon last. So we'll just move these ones aside, and we will just get right started with this episode. So first up, we do have Flareon here. This is the Fire-type Eevee evolution. Eevee has an evolution for each of the main types in Pokemon. And this is the Fire-type. As you see on the side of the box, it does still have the artwork right there. I always like to point out the artwork always looks fantastic. And the back of the box shows the other 2 characters here, as well as Eevee. This is actually technically a different Eevee pop, but since I already have the normal Eevee pop, I didn't bother to get this one, just because there's really not much different about it, just in a different pose. And I've learned my lesson with the Pikachu pops that you don't need every single one. You'll be okay. But if you want to collect all of them, that's perfectly on you. I just am going to be sticking to collecting the new characters rather than multiple versions of Pikachu and Eevee and all these other Pokemon that they're going to keep making. Alright, so let's get Flareon out of the box here. Okay, no stand for this one, so it should stand up on its own. Oh yeah, that stands up perfectly. Actually, yeah, the Pokemon Pops usually, except for Pikachu, actually stand pretty well on their own, because most of them have stand on all 4s, so it's a lot easier to get those to stand, except for Mewtwo. He actually kind of gives me trouble too sometimes. So looking at the Flareon pop, we see that it's got a very nice orange color to the skin, and to the fur kind of around the body, although we also see a lot of hair, especially around the neck, chest area right here. The whole tail is this big puffy tail. A lot of fluff there. It's a shame that I don't think they've made a flocked version of this pop, because I think this one would have actually made a lot of sense to make it a flocked pop, but they did not do that yet. Could still happen at some point in the future. It has this little tuft of fur as well on the top of the head. Other than that, though, not really much else to say about it. Kind of a basic design. They definitely differentiated it enough from Eevee, so you can definitely tell it's a different character. But it's pretty good. It's a really good design. But I think out of the 3 that we're reviewing today, I think Flareon is the closest one to Eevee, so it doesn't really look too different, besides the tufts of like fur and the different color of the fur around the body. Eevee's is more of a brown, Flareon's is more of an orangish color. So that's really the only main difference I see here. Nothing much else to say, but that one is really cool. So I'm going to set Flareon right there. Let's move on to Jolteon. Like I said, the hardest one for me to find. It took me a while to get a hold of this one, but finally it's here. And let's take a look at it. It says Jolteon right there. The artwork on the side as well, which we'll take a look at right there. Looks very nice. Again, always appreciate that artwork. And again, on the back, it shows all of the characters that you can collect. Although I did notice that on the back of the Pokemon boxes, it does not say collect them all, like it usually does on all the other ones. So that's a little bit interesting. I'm not sure why that is. If anything, they should have put catch them all, because that would have made, that would have been perfect, but they did not do that. That's a missed opportunity, in my opinion, for these pops. Alright, so we're opening up Jolteon here. Let's see. Okay, no base again. Oh, yeah, that one's a little bit wobbly, but mostly it seems to stand on its own pretty well. So here is Jolteon. I really like that yellow color. Actually, it really looks good. I'm not sure if you can really tell from the camera, but in person, this is a really, really good yellow, very vibrant yellow color. You see the hair, or the fur, I should say, kind of is sticking out in a lot of places, especially back here at the tail, just to show it's like electricity, you know, because this is the electric type for Eevee. Obviously, Jolteon, you know, Flareon, you know, they kind of tell you what it is in the name. Um, yeah, so we got the white fur as well around the neck, just like Flareon has the fur going around her neck as well, except this one again sticking out because it's supposed to be like electrified, you know, stuff like that. I like that detail a lot actually. Comparing it to how Jolteon actually looks, this pop does look a little bit off. I did actually compare the two. You can just look up a picture of Jolteon. You'll see that it does look a little bit off, but otherwise I think that they did a pretty good job with this one. Like I said, this one looks a lot different than Flareon does to Eevee, so you can definitely kind of tell the difference between those two, whereas Flareon and Eevee might get confused. But this one definitely has many differences about it, not to mention just the fact that it's yellow and Eevee's brown, that being probably the biggest difference right there. But this one, all in all, is really cool as well. I like the face as well. Same with Flareon. They pretty much all have the same face with the nose and the two black beady eyes on the front of the face there. And they do have a little bit of a mouth there as well, but it is closed, so it's quite difficult to see. Not very many Funko Pops actually have a mouth on them, so the Pokemon ones are one of the few exceptions to that rule. Alright, and that moves us on to the last one for this episode. We have Vaporeon. This one is the one that I actually think is the coolest out of the main three that we have here. So I'm quite excited to take a look at this one. The artwork for this one looks really, really good. Again, always got to give credit to that. And you see the back, once again, no collect them all or catch them all for that matter. Again, I feel like that's a missed opportunity, but, you know, what are you going to do? And it does say Vaporeon on the side of the box. If you could not tell, this is the water-type version of Eevee's evolutions. Alright, what do we have here? Ooh, I like this. Okay. So here is Vaporeon. So what I can see here is that it has the ears kind of like a fish. We see this right here. Definitely has a fish-looking texture to it, as well as the fin on the top of the head here. Looks very, very nice. The face, again, is the exact same face as Jolteon and Flareon, and probably Eevee as well. So I guess if it's not broke, just don't bother fixing it in their case. And like the other two, it does have something wrapping around the neck, but in this case, it's not fur. It's, I'm not entirely sure what this would be considered, but it is something right here. Scales, maybe? I'm thinking that's probably what those would be considered right there. And that actually wraps all the way around to the back of the head here. And also, talking about the back, it has a super long tail that starts right here and stretches all the way around to the front of the pop. So that is a pretty cool detail. Obviously, if the pop were standing up, the tail wouldn't be like this, but since Vaporeon is sitting down, that's why we see the tail wrapped around like that. And honestly, that's probably the best way to do it, because I don't think they would have been able to make a pop with Vaporeon standing up just like the other two because of the tail. I think that would have been a bit of an issue. So Funko actually did a pretty good job with incorporating the tail. It is pretty big, especially back here. It's gigantic, but otherwise it looks really cool, and it has the little fin as well in the back, so that's great. I also really like that blue color. Blue is my favorite color, so maybe I'm just biased, but I'm really liking that blue color on this one, which might also be why I like this pop so much. But yeah, this is probably my favorite out of them, but obviously it's an opinion, so if you guys think differently, let me know in the comments section. And those are the 3 Eevee Funko Pops for this episode. If you did enjoy, don't forget to like, comment, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.